Please welcome onto the stage organizational behaviorist, executive coach, author and speaker, and doctor, Corrie John Bluck.
Thank you so much. Hi. Okay, first of all, I probably shouldn't even be here. I am absolutely the wrong person to be talking about digital transformation because I am an organizational behaviorist. Like you said, I'm a leadership guru, I'm an executive coach. I do not have any certifications from Microsoft. I have never coded a line in my life. So what am I, I'll tell you, honestly, okay, these are my books. This is about performance, executive performance, and this is organizational behavior. I write about things that are not tech related. So why am I here? Well, I'm here because there's a significant problem and I'm a researcher. And so when I was doing the research on digital transformation, I found out that 84% of all of our DX efforts are going to fail. I felt like that was a pretty good number. That's a significant number and we should pay attention to it. Especially when it's backed up by studies from McKinsey, Bain, KPMG, EY, they all say the same thing. Somewhere between 72 and 95% of all of the money that you here at Serco spend on digital transformation is going to go down the toilet. Sorry. I wish I had better news. But everybody agrees. And you can imagine how serious this is. Like, Phil, seriously, if all 5 major global consultancies agreed that 84% of all airline flights were going to crash, would you buy a ticket? Okay, 84% of all surgeries are going to fail on the table. Why bother? But we still do it. We go through the motions, right? Why? Because we need it. We need our digital transformation. But we know it's going to fail. We don't, because we haven't had the right people, I think, thinking about the challenge of why we're failing. And the problem is that me, as an organizational behaviorist, I see the organization very differently than the technologists do. And like I said, I'm not a technologist. But I see the organization through the eyes of evolutionary psychology and neuroscience and behavior and decision-making value. And so it allowed me to see the organization in terms of digital transformation a little bit differently. And I've led a number of great digital transformation projects here in the UAE and abroad, not as a technologist, but as a behaviorist. So in one organization, it was a government organization here in the UAE. I don't want to embarrass anybody, so I won't say which one it is. But I was in front of the managing director and all of the directors for this major government entity. This was about, oh goodness, 2.5 years ago? So not so long ago, right? So 2.5 years ago, and I was delivering a 3-hour boot camp on artificial intelligence. So I'm just trying to help them understand. This is what artificial intelligence is, this is what it isn't, this is what the applications are, this is the state of play. And I was going through all of this stuff. About 1.5 hours in, one of the directors, not just any director, the director of engineering, put up his hand and he said, "Dr. Corrie, I'm confused." I said, "What is it?" He says, I thought that artificial intelligence was when robots were coming to take over all of our jobs." I know, I was laughing on the inside too, right? I was like, So I looked around, because the inside I was like, I wanted to laugh, but I didn't want to embarrass him, and I'm trying to control my face. And I looked around, and seriously, half of the people in the room were like nodding. And they were like, "Yeah, this is a legitimate concern. Have you seen the Terminator?" And I thought, oh, they're really actually concerned. I said, no, listen. No, robots aren't coming to take over our jobs. Imagine what you would do with the rest of your time if you could get your job done better, faster, more accurately, make more money in 10 hours a week. That's what we can do. And I was like, oh, okay. Everybody's like, yeah, good. Okay, good. That's a better frame. Awesome. In another organization that I was in, they were doing a full ERP changeover, major manufacturing organization here in the UAE. And the owner of the company called me into his office and he says, "Dr. Corrie," because I was doing the restructuring, the organizational restructuring while they were doing the DX. And he says, "Dr. Corrie, I have a problem." I said, "What is it?" He says, they're doing stuff with our technology and I don't really understand what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure they're ripping us off. And I said, how do you know? And he says, "Well, I don't know. Can you figure it out?" I said, "Why? I'm not a technologist. I don't do digital transformation." He says, "No, but you're smart and I trust you. Can you please just take a look? So I went and had a look. Took me about 2 weeks to do the evaluation. Realized that both the delivery partner and the internal team were all on track. They were delivering as expected. The invoicing was great. Everything was fine. All were playing well. There was just a lack of trust at the top level. That's all it was. But that had the potential to derail the entire project. In a third organization, this was really funny actually, I had one of the SVPs come up to me and say, hey, you know, we've allocated about $6 million to an IT budget, and our head of IT has purchased a piece of artificial intelligence, but we don't know what it is or what it's for. Can you go and check that out? So I was like, okay, so I went and evaluated. Sure enough, there was no business case for this piece of AI, and they'd spent about $750,000 on a toy. It's just shiny toy syndrome, that's it. And these are the things that we're dealing with in digital transformation. It's not the technology. The technology is amazing, okay? Since the invention of the API, all of our computers talk. It's awesome. Okay, so it's not the technology, and it's not even the technologists. The vendors are very competent. Your internal teams, highly competent people. It's not them. So what's the issue? The issue is, we've got $2 trillion worth of spending in this industry, and about $1.5 trillion of it is just going to go away because of resistance to change, which is a million-year-old process. We here are a million-year-old. We have been the successful latest iterations of 10,000 generations of iterative design, and we resist change. We're really good at that. That's one of our biggest, most significant risk factors now. Plus, we're competing with born digital disruptors, people that, you know, writing billions of dollars worth of code in their parents' basement, who don't have to deal with scoping and vendors and politics and decision making and writing a good finance argument, right? They don't have to deal with that. They're on their computers banging away, and then suddenly we're going to get disrupted by something we can't even see coming. I had one of my executive coaching clients, not even a year ago, came to me and he said, Dr. Corrie, I'm in trouble. I can't talk to the board about it. I can't talk to my C-suite about it. He's the CEO of a major company, and he says, look, this fourth industrial revolution, I don't understand blockchain, artificial intelligence. I don't have the vocabulary to describe. I can't even read the vendor proposals that my head of IT is bringing me, but I don't know how to fix it, and I'm supposed to make competent decisions, and I'm pretty sure that before I retire, which is in about 6 years from now, my whole business model is going to be disrupted in a way I can't see coming. He knows he's facing down something that he can't see, okay? And he's not sure how it's going to happen. He's just sure that it is. Somebody is going to try and take away their business model. And he's right, by the way. But we fixed it over the last year. He's become highly competent now. So don't worry, he's fine. You can relax. Yeah, but these are the things that I'm dealing with as a coach, as a behaviorist, as a strategist. And it's the born digital disruptor. And to give you just one example of a digital disruptor and how quickly they can move and take your business plan away, how many of you in the room know what Ant Financial is? Anyone? 1, 2. Ant Financial Services is the largest financial services company on the planet. They're 1.5 times larger than Goldman Sachs. They overtook the second largest financial services company in 2019. They were founded in 2014. By 2016, they had 1 billion users, with a B, billion. The largest financial services company on the planet, we don't even know its name. That's how fast this is, okay? It's a little bit scary. It deserves a bit of respect. So 84%, that's the real number. That's the really scary number. And all of the big consultancies agree, 84% of the time your digital transformation efforts will fail. But it's not due to technology, it is due to just misalignment. Communications and capabilities, that's it. It's very human stuff. It's human behavior that's getting in the way of our digital transformation efforts. That's all it is. And the good news is we're a million-year-old machine. We understand us a lot better now than we used to, and we can hack us. It's good, right? So we can deal with things like inertia. Inertia sounds like this. Inertia sounds like, this is the way we've always done it, this is the way we should do it. Okay? Doubt is, that will never work. That's what doubt sounds like. Cynicism sounds like this. Told you it wouldn't work. And the problem is, right, you've got these humans, when they express their doubt in the beginning, that will never work, guess what's going to happen? For the remainder of your process in digital transformation, that person who expressed publicly doubt that it would work is going to look for evidence to reinforce their initial expression. If they cannot find evidence, they will create it. They will work in the background to sabotage your efforts, consciously or unconsciously, because they need to be right more than they need for you to succeed. It's a million-year-old mechanism. It's not evil. It's a best practice for survival. That's all it is. It's just humans being humans. So I did the research, and I've come up with what I think are the 12 biggest reasons, biggest human factors, in the failure of digital transformation. This slide, by the way, as of about 2 days ago, is an article on Forbes, and I can send you the link so you can capture this later. But these are the big things. First of all, there's a lack of alignment to business outcomes. We don't know how to translate our digital transformation efforts into a language that our CFOs can understand. Am I right? Yes, we suck at that. We're not good at that. Okay? There's a lack of awareness within the organization. We don't tap into the capabilities of our internal marketing team to market internally what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it, how it's going to benefit the quality of your life. We don't communicate very well. We just assume people are going to adopt this great new technology, and they don't. And sometimes on our teams, we micromanage. That happens too, and that can derail the process. Or we might get distracted by the minutiae, because when you raise a great, talented coder to the head of IT or as a CIO or a CDO in an organization, typically they'll get distracted from time to time with the details of a project they should probably not be paying attention to. It happens because they're talented. They're talented in something other than leadership of a tremendous organization. As we don't leverage that talent, then we curse them for being talented at details because they're distracted by them. Or the shiny toy syndrome that I told you about before. Sometimes it's the inability to just translate into an executive language. We need, at the C-suite, we need stories. We need impact stories. How is this technology going to impact the way that we do business? What processes is it going to change or upgrade? And what's the adoption level that we're expecting? We need great stories. Sometimes it's a lack of control over external vendors. So I've been brought in a number of times to negotiate with external vendors and then control their delivery. I do that because I'm great with humans. Okay? And sometimes it's a lack of training for internal users. We make an assumption, don't we? We make an assumption that if we make it, they will try it. And that's not true. Actually, there's a huge gap between what people will try and what we think they'll try. We love familiarity and we resist change. And all of our employees are human as well, right? So we can expect them to behave exactly the same way. Sometimes we lose talent to our competitors. We know what that feels like. That hurts a little bit when we have a really great player on the team and then another team takes them, right? And then sometimes it's just a resistance of fear from, maybe thinking that they're going to be the one that gets replaced if this technology comes in. And the problem is we can't manage those people most of the time. Actually, we can't manage them more than 2 or 3% of the time. So 98% of the time, they're in the background tearing down your digital transformation efforts in hopes of saving their jobs. And wouldn't you? If you thought internally, even if you didn't say it out loud, if you thought that your job was on the line with this new piece of technology, wouldn't you defend your children, your family? Yeah. Then you have an apex predator in the background as a saboteur. It makes sense when I say it like that, right? When I say apex predator, it makes it stronger. Yeah. So I really want a human approach to DT. And when you're doing your sprint in the next session, I want you to pay attention to the human elements of digital transformation that can be mitigated here so that we don't run into the same 84% massive tidal wave of statistics that we're facing in this industry. The enterprise focus on soft skills has to include top-level management that can translate between the finance team and the UX team, between marketing and developers. Like, who's going to translate between marketing and developers? We need somebody at the top level who can do that. That's where our CDOs, CIOs, our tech people are responsible for not just managing the tech team, but for translating the efforts of the tech team into languages that the other departments speak. That's an enterprise focus on soft skills for digital transformation. A leadership focus for soft skills, we need great coaches, great storytellers. That's what we need. We need people who can tell compelling stories about the user interface and how it's going to improve our quality of work and what we're going to get out of this. Not just the details. We need the story, the impact story. We need great business analysts. We need great financial language. And that's one of the reasons why I studied finance, is so that I could translate organizational behavior into finance language. And that's one of the reasons why I studied artificial intelligence, is so I could translate artificial intelligence into finance language, and then into business language, and then into marketing language, and then to HR language. And once we get this right, then we need to talk to our employees. And our employees, we can help them to embrace the change, to reduce their level of fear. Because remember, resistance to change and fear of the unknown, that's a million-year-old mechanism, right? You're not going to solve it in a day, and you're definitely not going to solve it with an email. Once we can help our people to seek to understand the new things and the changes that are being there, if we can tap into that basic sense of human curiosity, once we can tap into curiosity, we become so much more powerful. Don't you think? And that's where we need to be. Augmentation is not replacement, and the fourth industrial revolution, all of this technology that we're trying to implement now, is just the next step in human evolution. It may be young. We've only had the technology for 20 or 30 years. We've had our brains on for about 1 million, so we need some time to adapt. But if we're patient and we treat our people like people and not like resources, we'll get a lot further in digital transformation. I have time. How much time do I have, moderator? 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Yeah, good. Oh, before I forget, you're right. Yes. No, honestly. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn. I'm always putting stuff out that's free. It's free tips and tricks in leadership and behavior and teamwork and influence and negotiations and management. Please follow me on LinkedIn. If there's anything that I can do for you for the rest of your career, reach out to me on LinkedIn, because I will try to help you. That's my nature. Just remind me where we met, right? Say, I was at that Circo thing. Remember? W Hotel, Dubai. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, so find me on LinkedIn. That's my primary channel. Are there any questions? Anything you want to talk about? Concerns?